Okay, so a little background on BCAMP. So I love it. Austin's patented dance moves. If you go watch his,
you hit record. It's
moves.
Pavlovian. As soon as you hit record, my arms just start doing this.
I love it. So again, BCAMP, we are in a virtual apprenticeship. So it's kind of like if you think about a hackathon and a boot camp had a baby, that's BCAMP. We combine elements of like a hackathon where we're building projects for protocols, and we combine elements of a little bit of a boot camp that there's like an application process. I see some of the people who are applicants, you get bonus points for being here, more likely to get admitted into the apprenticeship. And so it's a 6-week online virtual program where we take you through the process of building an application from start to finish, from all the way from writing a proposal through to doing a security review, get front-end experience. And you're building these projects like you mentioned Optimism, Coco. So we did get a grant in Optimism, which is cool. And so we're building projects that they've said they want built on Optimism. So they have a GitHub page where they've got 70 projects. We are taking some of those, and then we're going to provide mentorship and help to build some of those projects from start to finish. You can build your portfolio. And we're so lucky to have Austin Griffith. From the very beginning, we've always pointed people to Speedrun Ethereum before they join the bootcamp, because Speedrun Ethereum is awesome. It's like, it's just so clean. It's a great way to, yeah, there you go. Love the dance moves and all the videos. Like, there's just so much support around it. And especially for like a hackathon, for like this or for our apprenticeship, Speedrun is awesome because it gives you the introduction to the smart contracts, but it also provides this really cool framework for the front end that's dynamic. You build the smart contract and you've got a front end that automatically is built. It's got a testing page. It's just like, it just speeds up your development 10x if you're building a project from scratch. Austin, do you have anything else to add there? I don't want to miss it.
But. No, that's great. I think the landscape is very difficult, and we say you need to go build a bunch of things to learn, but sometimes we don't say exactly what you need to build, and sometimes folks need that. There's so many aha moments that are built in, where we went through so many mentorship sessions with devs one-on-one, and we handcrafted the curriculum to take you through the most important things at first and help you get quickly through that mental model. So yeah, it's just a great curriculum to get you started and a great tool for tinkering and building. And go check it out and go build something awesome at the hackathon.
Yeah, I love it. So yeah, again, we're so lucky to have Austin. He's like follow Austin, watch his videos. That's actually funny. I ran into Austin at ETH Denver this last year. And they tell you not to meet your heroes, but we met and it was okay, actually. So it's
I was taller than you expected, probably.
Taller and more friendly. Like, yeah, so it's great to have you here. So anything else, Safari DAO, Coco, before we jump in, or are we good to get started? We'll take silence as affirmative. So again, thank you for having us. We're excited for this. We're going to walk through a little bit of Speedrun Ethereum, and we've got Oba Kang, who's going to walk us through that. I'll shut up now. Over to Obi.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, guys. You've just seen that we have our awesome leaders, Austin Griffiths, and I'm one of the people to personally learn from his platform. That's why I'll be taking you through it today. Alongside my great partner, which is Lizard Brain, because on the internet we are all pseudo anonymous. I'm going to share my screen with you guys so that you can be able to see. So basically, Speedrun Ethereum, you start off on the main page. It's speedrunethereum.com, speedrunethereum.com, where you'll see on this platform, whether you're a beginner, intermediary, or a pro, there's a set of instructions that you need to follow. I'm taking you guys through as beginners. That's how I'm going to be taking all of you through this, so we have an easier understanding level. So basically, we'll watch a quick introduction video to Ethereum development from Austin Griffiths himself. And then the second instruction is you'll be using Scaffold ETH, which is a framework for developers. Most of them know what that is, which is a framework that easily ensures that you have a front end to interact with your back end. And then number 3 is you have a nice playlist to go through the different things that Austin was talking about, how to play around with the tools and packages that are available. And then finally, when you are ready to test your knowledge, you can jump into speedrun Ethereum. So challenge 0 is basically just creating a simple NFT example of how to mint or and transfer an NFT. So for those who are on the website right now, or even afterwards when you are going through the walkthrough, we are going to be navigating over to challenge 0. Now, before we begin, I had kindly mentioned yesterday that the tools you'll be needing for most of us is Visual Studio Code. That's what we're familiar with. And also Node.js for your backend is what will be needed. I'll be closing off these pages to make it easier for me to browse through. Now, when you go down and scroll on challenge 0 for your simple NFT example, you see you get 2 options, which is using Gitpod for those who might be familiar with it. But if you're not, we will be navigating over to the Visual Studio Code instruction. So from here, because I had already cloned and installed the repository, what you'll be doing is you will be copying, taking you once again through basic examples, you'll be copying this command and you'll be needing 3 terminals. So when you navigate over to your Visual Studio Code, you will have terminal 1 open, which is this first one. And then you'll have terminal 2 open, which is the second one. And then terminal 3, I just want to mention something informative about it. Because the command from the speedrun Ethereum site uses CP, which is a Linux command, it will give you a problem if you're using PowerShell. So you can just convert terminal 3 to git bash, and that will allow the yarn search instructions to go through. So once you are in the correct directory, or excuse me, let me mention that by the way, before you begin with all this, ensure that you create a directory in any folder of your choice where you can easily navigate into it. And then once you have navigated into that directory, that is where, let me just show you a practical example. Don't want to make it seem like I'm talking and then it's just, no practicality. Once you are in that specific directory that you have mentioned, which I named Speedrun Ethereum Workshop, you're going to be putting in the command for git clone, which you get from the Speedrun Ethereum website. Great. And then once you are done with copying over the command, it's going to clone challenge 0 for you, but it'll only clone the README. So which means that you won't have all these packages and directories and folders on your side. So if we go back to Speedrun Ethereum, you'll see that there's a command over here that specifies and says git checkout challenge 0. So from git checkout challenge 0, excuse me, let me go back to my Visual Studio Code. From git checkout challenge 0, what you'll be doing is once again checking it out so that you have the dependencies, the directories, and the folders that you need. Great. Now everything will appear in here and you will have things 80% pre-built for you. And then going forward, it just depends how you tinker around with the folders. All right. So please ensure that once you get cloned into your directory that you've created, and you've also done the next command, ensure that you navigate correctly to the challenge by using CD and then just using tab, and it'll take you to challenge 0, because you need to be in the root directory of the project to run the other commands. All right. Once you are in your first terminal, this is only in the first terminal, not the second or the third one. What you're going to be doing is installing yarn. So you're going to run yarn install, and obviously because I've already done that, all right, I'm just going to take you through another visual walkthrough so that You can actually see what it says. It'll show you and install Yarn. Mine is already up to date, so it says success. Now, great. After you've had success with Yarn install, then you're going to say Yarn chain in order to ensure that it will be connecting you to the test blockchain that you will be on. Correct me, sometimes my terminology is not correct, so any professional feels like telling me now, Obi, this is the keyword that you should be using, you're more than welcome. All right, and then let's go back. Now you're going to be opening up the second terminal that we mentioned. From this is where your front end will be, and this will be the server. It will basically be starting the server for your front end. And you'll see that currently within a second or two, we'll be having a front end page pop up on localhost 3000. Let's just give it a few seconds. And then while it's still loading up for, as you can see, there we go. Localhost 3000 is still currently loading. And then as you can see in the third terminal, what we're gonna do after it's loaded, we have to ensure first it loads. We're gonna go back to our third terminal and then we say Yarn deploy. Let's just give it a couple of seconds. So currently loading. Time to ensure that we are not wasting time. So say Yarn deploy, keep it on standby. It does take a couple of seconds, so also be patient on your side when you run these commands after the workshop or even when you are following through with it. All right. Now, next point will be checkpoint 1. Currently just waiting for localhost 3000 to, yep, and there we go. Good. As Austin mentioned earlier when he was talking about sending faucet quickly from within the scaffold framework, which was one of the challenges that I wasn't aware of, because I thought, oh, okay, I know a smart contract address also needs a bit of faucets in order to be able to pay for the fees to be deployed to the blockchain. And I figured, you know what, I might just have to leave it like this. But I'm comfortable starting off from the ground due to the fact that he mentioned over here, you can easily grab funds from the faucet. Now, as you can see, this is the front end for your decentralized application. And then when we go back to Visual Studio Code, we're going to run Yarn deploy. All right, currently using Hardhat to deploy it onto the testnet blockchain. Right? As you can see, this is in the third terminal. So please don't get confused and put in the incorrect command in the wrong terminal. And for those who might have came in only now, please be aware that as you follow along with speedrun Ethereum, there is an issue with using PowerShell to run CP. So when you create your third terminal within Visual Studio Code, which is what we are currently using as recommendation, just ensure you make your third terminal a get bash terminal to run the commands much more easy. Okay, great. As you can see, it's been deployed using Hardhat. Now, checkpoint 1. This is where we come to gas and wallet. So as you can see, the instructions say you'll need to get some funds from the faucet for gas. And what makes it easy about Scaffold ETH is that you do not have to navigate anywhere else in order to get faucet funds. You can easily do this within Scaffold ETH framework. That's what makes it super easy for beginners like myself. It took me 5 months to go through the first challenge, but once I managed to finish it, I realized how easy the Scaffold ETH framework was to use it. And also, please be aware, it also gives you an informational note that don't connect your MetaMask. If you're already connected, please click log out because it produces an error and it can disturb your production during localhost. All right, so we come here and then you're going to click on grab funds from Faucet. Great. And then as you can see on your localhost wallet, it was 0 before, but now it's gone up to $16.34. So that's what makes it super easy to use Scaffold ETH framework. You don't have to navigate to an external website in order to receive test funds. Now, we'll be talking about burner wallet on localhost. And burner wallet is basically a wallet that you use once and then you dispose of. All right. And then over here, as you can see, the instructions say, explore how burner wallets work in Scaffold ETH by opening the incognito window and navigate it to localhost 3000 once again, and you'll get a new wallet address in the top right corner. All right, and send localhost test funds to it from your first browser. So once again, I'm coming over to Ethereum app. But now, whatever browser you're using of your own choice, make sure that you click on the options button and then you click new incognito window. And because if you've done it before, it'll take you over to localhost 3000. Quick and simple. Takes you over to localhost 3000. And as you can see, let me go back to the main Scaffold ETH NFT example. This address over here is not the same as the one in your incognito tab. So there are two different addresses. And what you need to do is, because it's teaching you how to transfer funds or even faucet funds over here for a beginner to understand how simple it is to do it on the blockchain, you're gonna copy over your address over here, your contract address, whatever you may prefer the terminology for it. I'll refine my terminology, so don't be too tough on me. And then you come over here. Now, this is how you will be sending over. You will be sending over funds from this wallet to another wallet. Remember, you copied over your wallet address from your incognito tab. So you're gonna paste it in here. And oh, okay, great. Maybe you want to send over $5. You just click over here. Remember, this is the Scaffold ETH framework. Makes it super simple to do this kind of transfer and transaction because it's already built into the framework. Now, we're going to click on send. As you see at the bottom right of my screen, it says local transaction send. And then we navigate over to our incognito window. You'll see now that the very same localhost address wallet that didn't have anything now has $5 of faucet fund. Great. And because it's a burner wallet, you can just close it off and then we continue with the instructions. All right. Yeah, now we're getting to checkpoint 2, which is minting. So now within the Ethereum app front end, you see it says, okay, mint some NFT. And it's so simple to learn just the basic backgrounds before moving on to more advanced decentralized applications or different applications of blockchain. Because when you go to the Ethereum app on the front end, over here on your collectibles, it has a mint NFT button. So you're going to click on it and then wait a couple of seconds and it'll say a local transaction sent. Now, obviously, because it's local host, it might be a bit slower and sometimes it does have a bit of its own issues, but those aren't really a big problem because as you can see, the NFT is not appearing, but all you simply do because it's on your local host, you refresh the page and then the NFT is going to pop up on the screen. Let's just give it a couple of seconds. Let's just give it a couple of seconds. Just refresh again. Yep, there we go. There we go. This is the magic I was talking about, boys and girls. As you can see, you have ingeniously and easily minted your first NFT using the Scaffold ETH framework. So we've got Mr. Buffalo over here that makes it simple to see what the NFT rave is all about. All right. And as it mentions here in the instructions, you should see your collectibles start to show up. And then once again, for those who are going to be going through the activity even after we're done with the walkthrough, you can mint zebras, you can mint rhinos, and even if you've personalized it, you can mint any NFT of your choice wherever you pick it from. Once again, we're going to be going back to incognito magic, baby, because now we are going to have to transfer one of these NFTs, or the only NFT that I've created, to our new wallet. Once again, you open incognito mode on your browser, and then you navigate over. You'll see that, oh, okay, you copy the address, which is different once again, and then you go back to speedrun Ethereum. As you can see, it says open an incognito window, and you walk properly through the instructions to localhost 3000, and then you're going to transfer an NFT to the incognito window address using the UI. All right. So we come here. Once again, very simple. Beginner simple, and easy to use when you are learning the blockchain about wallets and minting and transfers. So when you look down on your page over here, right on the right of the Buffalo NFT, you see that it says owner, and then it says transfer to address. So the address that you copied from your incognito window, from your incognito wallet address, you're going to paste it in here, because you're going to be transferring ownership of this NFT over to a new localhost wallet. Click on transfer, local transaction send, and then we navigate back to the incognito window. And as you can see, we have new ownership now of the Buffalo NFT from the previous owner. Great. Let me go back. Taking you guys through a slow and easy walkthrough. Oh, yes. Now these were some interesting. These were some interesting ones, because if you test it out and tinker around and fail over a month, like I did, before you eventually get the hang of everything, it says try to mint an NFT from the incognito window. Like, trust me, guys, go through this. Failure is the only way you are going to learn about the blockchain and Scaffold ETH, and then build up to whatever advanced superhero you want to be in the Web3 space. So the first question it says is, can you mint an NFT with no funds in this address? You might need to grab funds from the faucet to pay the gas. Oh, all right. So let's go over to our incognito window, and then we are just going to do this for fun. Try and mint. I'm going to click on mint and listen to what it says. Sender doesn't have enough funds to send the transaction. And that's because your local host wallet is not filled up with any kind of faucet funds. That's why you are not able to mint an NFT compared with the main original owner of the NFT, due to the fact that there are some faucet funds within your local host address. All right. And then it says, inspect the debug contracts tab to figure out what the address is, what the address of the owner of your collectible is. So you can do this in any tab. You can either do it in the incognito window, or you can do it within the main NFT example front end. And as you scroll down, you'll see there's a couple of variables and some other interesting stuff that it shows you. You scroll down, and right at the bottom under your collectible, once again, it shows you who the owner is, and also shows you the address that you can copy of your collectible smart contract. Great. Moving over to your collectibles. Now, it also says here, you can also check out your smart contract, your collectible.sold in packages /hard hat /contract. Now let's move over to our Visual Studio Code. And then over here, as you can see on the side, I'd already had them opened up because I wanted to be decently prepared for you guys. But within packages, let me go up properly, within packages, when you open the hard hat directory and then you open contracts, this is your smart contract that you actually interact with on your front end. And as you can see, it's using Solidity 0.8.2, and it also has some open Zeppelin pre-built contracts that you can use. And then within this here, this is how the contracts are imported and then used. And it has the basic functions. And from my understanding, especially just looking at the base URI, I'm thinking that's where it gets the NFTs from. I might be mistaken, but Austin will correct me after we have gone through this. And then it also you have a function for minting your item, and then you also have a function for before token transfer, and also a burn function. So basically, this is your simple contract that allows you to do everything that you have just seen us go through up to this point. Great. Let's go back to speedrun Ethereum. And then this is also, there's the second last point for checkpoint 2 is take a quick look at your deployment script. So basically, this is how you want it to operate and run when you deploy your smart contract onto the blockchain. And then once again, we're going to move over to Visual Studio Code, which is packages, hard hat, and deploy. Yes, which is packages, hard hat, and deploy. There we go. Let me just make sure I'm showing you guys the correct one. Oh yes, deploy. Excuse me, this one. This is your script. Apologies about that. This is your script that will be running whenever you deploy your smart contract address using the Scaffold ETH framework onto the blockchain. And it has a different variables and functions in order to help you out. And for those who have a deeper and much more advanced understanding, they are looking at this as baby code. But for those who are still taking step by steps, we will once again understand it on a deeper level. But yes, there you go. That's your deployment script that goes along with your Scaffold ETH framework. Great. And then this is also another important factor for those who are into developing and tinkering with your Scaffold ETH framework front end. Because if you want to make any changes within your app on the front end, you have to open your app.jsx, code file, which is basically where you can also, you'll see, we're going to come back to this point, which is also where you can make changes visually for your website on the front. And you find this package within challenge 0, within packages, and then you go down, you go up to the React app, and then source, and then that's where you'll find your code file. Great. And then now I'm going to be moving on to checkpoint 3, where we actually deploy our smart contract onto a testnet, which is Sepolia. Yep. So far, we've only been doing it on localhost, which means that it's only been running within our own system. So now we are going to be using it on a testnet in order to see that it is actually interacting properly. So you see here, it says change the default network in packages /hardhat/config.js to Sepolia. All right, now we're going to navigate back to packages dot this file. We're going to navigate back to packages, hardhat, and then hardhat.config.js. And then you change localhost to Sepolia, which is the testnet that we will be running it on. Great. And then what we need to do now, and once again, please be aware that for terminal 1 and terminal 2 are actually operational. So if you want to run any other command after that, it's going to need to be in the third terminal. And now what we're going to do is we need to generate a deployer address. And we're going to do that by going over to our third terminal. Let me just clean this up and bring it up here so you guys can see it properly. Yes. Now we're going to say yarn generate deployer address for our smart contract. You can see it's using hardhat generate. Great. And then it says, now what it says is our kind has successfully been generated. And then following along with me, because I believe in a hold my hand approach until I can take the tiny wheels off the bicycle and ride it properly. And then now you're going to view your deployer address using your own account. And as you can see, once again, Austin Griffith and his team created an amazing QR code that you can scan in order to also fill up your deployer address and receive the address of the QR code. So once again, we're going to be moving over to terminal 3, and then we're going to be saying yarn in order to view our deployer address. Currently generating, as you can see. Let's go right to the top. You'll see that there's the full QR code that you can scan, and then it's still going through all the different testnets that we have mentioned. As you can see, localhost, nothing, mainnet, nothing, nonce, release, Sepolia, which is our testnet, has nothing yet. And that's one thing that Austin kindly corrected me on right before we started the workshop, that due to this easy feature of scaffold ETH having a faucet fund function or functionality within it, it is very easy to fill up your deployer smart contract address with faucet funds, because later on, if you do not fill up your deployer smart contract with faucet funds, you're going to experience an error where it says not enough funds. So currently now what we're going to do is just going to copy over the deployer address, go over to the Ethereum, your Ethereum decentralized app on localhost 3000, and then you're gonna paste that very same smart contract deployer address, and then you can send about $5. But just to be safe, let's make it 8. Cool. And then we send it over. Now, when we run the very same command again, I'm going to run the very same command again so that you can actually see so that you can actually see, that indeed it has been updated. Yeah, it has been updated. You'll see that Sepolia is not going to be on 0 anymore. It's going to have an amount equivalent to what I sent. Wow. All right. So I see that it actually sent it over to localhost. So I'm just have to reconfigure. All right. I noticed where my error was. So guys, as you can see, no matter how many times you try and go through it, you are going to make an error. So basically what needs to happen over here is that you need to go over to your app.jsx, which is for your front end, And because it was still on localhost and not Sepolia, it sent it over to our localhost testnet and not our Sepolia testnet. So just gonna go back and then you are using that very same excuse me. Yeah. I'm gonna go back to terminal 3 just to grab the deployer address. Copy it, come over, and then making a lot of tiny. So once again, I hope you guys are learning from the mistakes that I myself am making here. So as you can see, I made a change on my back end, but I didn't deploy it to the front end. So which means that even if I extend some faucets now, I'm still going to make the same mistake. So what you need to do is within terminal 3, you have to run yarn deploy again so that the front end also picks it up. Just have to wait a couple of seconds. Just refresh it. Yep. As you can see, it says Sepolia because that is Sepolia now. That is the one that we have chosen as our test. And let me also ensure that I am doing things correctly by checking my notes for you guys. Yes. We are on checkpoint 3 and I have changed the target network to Sepolia on the front end and also on the back end. I've changed it to Sepolia. All right. Okay, just control. Okay. Now let me go back to speed run Ethereum. Excuse me, guys. I'm also showing you that we are human beings and we do make our own little errors from time to time. All right. So we still haven't connected our Web3 wallet yet because what we're going to be using is one of the live ones that we do. So I'm just making sure I'm doing things correctly. I've changed it on hardhat.config.js, where we've changed the default network from localhost, which is what your default on the Scaffold E framework. And then I also changed it on the app.jsx, which is the front end, to Sepolia. And then I redeployed it. And as you can see from the instructions, after making these changes and deploying it to the address Excuse me. Apologies for my errors. All right. Let me check. Let me get the address. There we go. And then we come over here. As I mentioned, for those who have currently joined, you always need to make sure that your deploy a smart contract has faucet funds in it for you to be able to send. So maybe I send $40. Yeah, I'm just going to send it over to my deployer smart contract. All right. Once again, cross fingers with me, guys, so that it is finally within our Sepolia network. Just observing. Okay. Currently still loading. There we go. So yes, that's the beauty of having people as patient and loving as you who don't scream in my face when we make errors. Localhost, as you've seen, that was the error before. It got sent there because I didn't make a change on the back end, and I made a change on the back end and I didn't deploy it onto the front end for the blockchain to integrate. But as you can see from before, in fact, it's nice that I made this error, because for those who are jumping in now can see there, over here, localhost got an even bigger balance while Sepolia had nothing. But after making the change on the back end on both hardhat.config.js and your app.jsx code file, then when you run the command yarn run account in order to see what the address is for your deployer smart contract, you'll see that now Sepolia went from 0 to having a balance of 0.0245. Great. So we're on track now. And then we are moving down, and we've already deployed our NFT smart contract, and it's wonderful. And I went ahead and jumped the gun. But once again, the reason I did that is so that I can give you real walkthrough example of error making, troubleshooting, and resolving, so that you know that whatever error you face, there are always different ways to solve a problem. So you can see from checkpoint 4, it says ship it. Great. What's the first instruction? Now, as I previously did, you need to edit your front end to networks.sepolia. So if we go back, for those who have just recently joined, if we go back to our code file for, let me just take this down, our code file for app.jsx, we changed our network from localhost, which was running locally, to the Sepolia testnet in order to see how our decentralized application is functioning within a testnet blockchain. Awesome. And then, all right, now it says you should see the correct network in the front end. Oh, wonderful, wonderful. And then this is where the Web3 wallet magic comes in. At this moment, you will need to connect the decentralized application to a browser wallet where you have some Ether available to mint tokens. And again, we're going to be using a faucet. Wherever you get it from is a choice of your wise and kind brain. So, and then you keep in mind that the address you generated in the previous step to deploy the contract will likely be different from the one you have configured in your wallet. Awesome, 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 awesome. All right. So what you're going to see here, because it's checkpoint 4, we've now shipped it via the testnet. What we're going to be doing is actually minting using our own personal development Web3 wallet of your choice provider. We're going to be minting it live using the Sepolia testnet. And I'm going to take you through an exact run through of that now. And it will end up showing you this result. So now we go over to the Ethereum, our decentralized Ethereum app. Let me just move this over down to the ground. And as you can see, what makes it, Scaffold ETH makes it very easy for beginners. I myself have failed over numerous months trying to learn the baby steps of blockchain properly. And this was one of the easiest resources that I found myself indulged in. And although it took 5 months, it actually took me a day to finish the first activity due to the simplicity of the instructions and just knowing how to deal with errors. So over here on the top right corner, you'll see right next to that wallet logo, you are going to click connect. And voila, magic, baby, magic. There you have it, a Web3 wallet of your choice. For some of us who are Patrick Collin fanatics and Austin Griffith fanatics, we like using MetaMask. And it blew my mind because I didn't even see anything, but it happens so seamlessly that the minute you click on MetaMask, it logs you in automatically. I thought there had to be some confirmation or whatever. Perhaps if you do it on the first try, it does that. But as you can see, I'm automatically logged into my Web3 wallet, which is on the Sepolia network. And even if I wasn't, it was going to give me the option to convert from whatever network I was on to the Sepolia network. Great. And then what are we going to do? Now we're going to be minting our first NFT live on a testnet blockchain. And you're going to see the transaction happen in real life. Please pay close attention to the top right of the screen. Now we click mint NFT, and then MetaMask pops you up a notification. Voila. As you can see, as I mentioned, the Sepolia test network. And if you have a development wallet, you can select that or a wallet of your choice. And then over here, it shows you some amazing features like the gas fee you have to pay, and it estimates and does the calculations for you. And then what you do is click confirm, and baby, magic, 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 magic. You have your NFT. As I mentioned, sometimes it doesn't catch up as quickly. So remember, for those who were here first, it's not a shammy or a whammy, because you actually do get a second NFT, which is another buffalo. Those who were here when the workshop started know that we started off with buffalo number 1, but now we have buffalo number 2, which we have minted using our Web3 wallet of choice. Right. And then what we do now, because we actually want to show people our lovely work that we've done, using the Scaffold ETH framework. And I know there are those who are intermediate and advanced, and they would have created something that looks like it comes out of a sci-fi movie. So what you're gonna do next, after minting your first live NFT on a testnet, you're gonna go back to the third terminal, and then you're gonna use this command, yarn build. And basically what it's gonna do is, as it says, easy and simple, guys, as I mentioned, for beginners or intermediate people who wanna play around and tinker and get that love and energy again for the blockchain space as it should be. You're gonna come over and go over to the third terminal. And remember, the next command we're gonna use is the reason why I mentioned that, to make it much easier for you. PowerShell does not use the CP command, which is a Linux command. So when you open third terminal, please ensure that you make it git bash so that it is able to pick up Linux command. Now what we're going to do is you paste in the command and magic. It's automatically going to build your front end for you from how you have coded it and personalized it on your back end. Because I know we have some people who are extremely amazing at building things that look wow. As you can see here, it's currently building it. It'll probably take about a minute or 2 or 3. It just depends how fast it's reacting to your network and your resources. Great. And then, as I mentioned, be very careful, guys, because this can have you looking at it for 5 months if you are not that experienced yet at knowing that, you know, when you use such a command, it's going to be running a Linux command instead of a normally accepted Windows command. But the beautiful thing is the Speedrun Ethereum team did go ahead to ensure that they give an informational tip where they tell you that, oh, okay, listen, this is what's happening. Window users, beware. I'm a window user, so I suffer, baby girls and boys, because you may have to change the search code in packages, React app package.json. So basically, when we go over there, you come over here to your package.json file, and then because, as I mentioned, yeah, this is also another tip. As I mentioned, you would have had to change that command over here to simply this. But, you know, maybe you don't like doing a lot of strenuous work and taking the long way around. It's just easy to convert that third terminal to git bash, because this is where when you run yarn search, this is where that command gets picked up, kicked in, and then sent off to the blockchain. All right, and as you can see here, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Let's go up again. When we used yarn build, it built our front end for us. And as you can see, all the files that are needed are in there, and from the scaffold ETH framework, which made it super easy. So developers, front-end developers, you will love this, baby boys and girls, because it's making your job way easier. I'm a beginner, and I could tell that if I was on front end, I'd appreciate this if I was on the Web3 space. Great, great. Now, we've used the yarn build command. Now, what we're going to use next is we're going to use yarn search. So search is basically, in my own words, it's like a tool to host a free application on the web. So that's why the team also chose resources that you don't necessarily have to pay for, to make things easier, and that you can actually learn from it and feel encouraged, not discouraged. Now you're going to run yarn search, and look what happens. Because you are in a git bash cell, when you run yarn search, it automatically picks it up, and you do not even struggle to have to deal with endless errors, because using that git bash terminal automatically allows you to operate as a semi-Linux user. And then just be aware that after you've run yarn search and you are within, what happens is, there it is. What happens is, after when it's your first time running the command, you will have to, if you already had an account, you sign in. But mostly for beginners or intermediaries or pros that haven't used this before, you just have to input your details, like your email, and then create a password for it. And then please just be aware. You'll probably be wondering, but now why don't I see anywhere else to input a command? No, all you need to do after doing this, you just simply press enter. And then it's going to kick it off in order for this website to be live for you. Yeah, That's why you see it says uploading. Awesome, awesome, awesome. And then this is your domain, by the way, noti-feather.search. And then if we go back to the browser, you'll realize that obviously we didn't make much visual front end changes, but you'll see that it's actually operational in terms of the URL. So this is how you can be able to share it with family, friends, and anybody else that you love, because voila, you just created your decentralized application using Scaffold E, one of the most easiest frameworks to use, and you now have it live due to Yarn Search. Great. All right. And then now, before we actually go over to contract verification, we need to ensure that our smart contract that we have created and we have deployed passes the test in order to be able to be deployed on, if we ever come to the point of changing our from a test net to a local net, then we need to ensure that it passes the test and it's not going to fail in real time. So what we need to do is go back once again to our third terminal. Terminal 3 is like, I don't know, the demigod, because the other terminals are running the services they need to. So you go back to, excuse me, let me move this so that you can see. All right, you've used Yarn Search. Now we're going to use Yarn Test. And this is like the cheat code basically, because when you actually took the time to go through the challenge, you'll realize that this is almost like semi-automatically helps to identify that your contract is production ready to go live on the testnet or even on a local net that you might have selected. And then press enter. You'll see that it's using a hard hat test, and it's going to give you some super easy information. I find it very encouraging, as somebody who's tinkering in the space, because it makes it super easy. It tells you, okay, you know what, simple NXT exchange. That's what we've been working on using speedrun Ethereum, and our main smart contract is Go Connect. Great. Now we have here, it also uses a mint item test address, and you'll see that it will tell you if it fails, it tells you it fails and due to 1, 2, 3. But if it passes like we've been doing it correctly, then you'll realize that, oh, okay, well, this is wonderful. This is how this is how my contract is ready to be deployed. So let's just give it a couple of seconds. Yep, as you can see, very simple. And also, I feel like for intermediate to pro developers, it also shows the importance of testing your smart contracts before deploying. So there we go, 3 passing. You've passed. There's no problems with your smart contract for your decentralized application. And then we're going on to checkpoint 5. Now, once again, I feel like the team made it extremely easy. The team made it extremely easy to deploy your smart contract, Magnet, to deploy your smart contract and even verify it, on the blockchain, the testnet blockchain, by ensuring that you have the command. Now, this is the wrong way to go about it, by changing it here. But then over here, you can just use Yarn verify -- network. Let's go over. This is the command to verify that your smart contract has actually been verified on the Sepolia testnet. And then you just type in Sepolia or whatever your testnet is. Great. Yarn verify -- network Sepolia. There we go. Nobody steal my API key, please. Excuse me. Let me just plug it in. All right, and as you can see, it says already verified. You know, it says already verified. So you know that when it says already verified, you know for a fact it's hard coded on the blockchain. Nobody can tamper with it and say, it's not there, because it's already there. It's already there, and it verifies to you through your terminal on your testnet that it is verified. And then, all right, it is okay to say if your contract is already verified. Now it says copy the address of your collectible .sol and search it on the Polia Etherscan. Because remember, there are different Etherscans with different testnets or local nets. Yeah, local nets. Use my terminology once again. So once again, that very same address that was used to deploy your collectible smart contract, we're gonna come over. I had already opened the tab. Let me just do this. Now, on the Sepolia Etherscan, you're gonna paste it in over here, and then you are gonna search, and you will see at the bottom, as it says, 12 minutes ago, item was minted. It shows all the transactions that took place between our wallet and the deployed smart contract. And that's the amazing thing about the blockchain. Each and every transaction is verifiable. Awesome, awesome, awesome. And then it says over here, Etherscan to find the correct URL, you need to submit this channel. Right. So what you do is for the last step, you copy this whole URL in here, and then you can share this link. Not that. Yeah, my mind is a little tired, so apologies about that. The URL, we copied the URL for two things. There are two URLs that you need to provide as proof that you have completed the challenge, and it also can't be tampered with, especially when you've done it correctly and it shows you've actually done the practical work. So which is the URL for our decentralized application, and then it's also the URL for our verified deployment of our smart contract on the Sepolia test. Now you see here, flex says over here, share your public URL with a friend and ask them for their address to send them collectible. So basically, from the NFTs that we've generated, it can now publicly be exchanged, with a friend, family, whoever you are so deeply in love with, you can do that. And then I didn't go further to do the side quest, but you are more than welcome to continue with them, because the challenge actually ends off here at checkpoint 6. But we also have a side quest where you can actually see your new NFTs on OpenSea. And then also, once again, they're just informing you an informational tip that you can use in Fura. So what we do is, we've reached the finale. You say submit challenge, and then that very same URL from the Sepolia Etherscan, you paste it in here, and then you can go back to your terminal in order to go pick up your domain URL for your decentralized application for your NFT, and then you paste it in here, you click submit. Excuse me. Let me just do this. Yep. And then, amazing. You see, guys. Yeah, I get super excited. Apologies about that. So this now actually verifies. This is why you can't lie. You cannot lie when it comes to technology, baby, because code is law. So basically, as you can see on the top right of the screen, you have your Sepolia testnet, which we had changed within our hardhat.config.js file, and then also within our app.jsx. And we also have our Web3 wallet on our Sepolia testnet in order for them to be one transitional thing through one network. And you actually see here, that's how cool Speedrun Ethereum makes it, using the scaffold ETH framework. So you actually see here, Speedrun Ethereum sends you a request, and I must be the one to sign for it. So now all I simply do is I say sign, and it'll take you right there. Takes you right through to your Speedrun Ethereum portfolio. Now, to any Web3 company that you apply for, any protocol you apply for, you can just work them over this address so that they can see what you have done. And it opens up their chances maybe to even fund your Web3 startup, or even your career to boost it. And as you can see over here, what it says, challenge, yeah, excuse me. There's a challenge 0. It says simple NFT example, and it says contract code, and then it says updated. You see, it says submitted. Now let me just do this. It does take a couple of seconds just to grasp it, but as you can see, it confirms that you, as the Web3 dev, smart contract auditor, tinkerer, you have successfully completed the first challenge 0 of Speedrun Ethereum with BCAMP and Austin Griffith. So if you guys have any questions, I was just the guy taking you through the walk. You have the original creator, the man of the moment, whom you can ask questions to if he's open up for them and still have times. And then this walkthrough comes to an end, proudly presented to you by Bootckathon with Tiberi. You can find me on Twitter as Shadow Ghost 001 and BCAMP, a Web3 educational platform. Peace and love, guys.
Can I go mint one of your NFTs?
Oh,
I'm going to.
saying Austin?
Here we go.
Okay.
It's right here, right? I'm gonna go mint one.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have a lot of money on Sepolia.
Yeah, I was just about to say a lot.
Thank you, Austin.
Thank you so much. I truly appreciated how well prepared you were. You had everything, ready to go, and how you engaged the crowd as well. Austin, I feel like throughout the entire session you kept referring to like how detailed Austin has made everything, and even like going through the speedrun Ethereum challenges. I love how just how detailed everything is. But I was curious, Austin, why did you put so much thought and energy into this? Like, what was the driving force?
I think that it's just hard to learn. There's a lot of stuff that you have to get right, and there's a lot of stuff that can go wrong, and it's important for each one of those steps to be very clear for a newcomer. I think you just have to take the time to go through it, because it's so technical that if you don't kind of have a very clear path of how to get through it, a lot of folks will fall off.
I can vouch for that, simply due to the fact that I knew nothing about the Web3 space up until I joined BCAMP. And their prerequisite for the bootcamp is going through Speedrun Ethereum. Now, even Richard, Mr. Lizard Brain, can vouch for you that Obi did not know what the heck was going on when I first jumped in here. I struggled, even that the first challenge I'm taking you through now. I knew 0, guys. I didn't even know what was happening. But as the months went by and I was tinkering around, and that's why they say that whether it's Web 2 or Web 3, problem solving is essential. Because if you do not know how to go and research those errors to find the solution for it, you're going to have a problem. Because I actually had to use Stack Overflow, a couple of articles and blogs just for that yarn surge error. That's why I knew what error was going to pop up and what it's going to give you, because I had to take the time for that. So once again, don't rush it. If you rush it, you're probably just going to be, wasting your own time, and it takes time, and it requires the boss method. I don't know if anybody's familiar with that, but it's butt on seat and study, or you can say boss or butt on seat and read. Because if you do not have the the drive to go through that documentation, to watch Austin's videos, which are 30 minutes long, others are probably 15 minutes. Shout out Austin. Yeah, I was that patient. Because I know most people are looking for, like speedy processes. It was amazing. And you realize that when you rush through the content that Austin has done, you miss some of the key points that he mentioned. Because I realized when I went back to the first challenge and I read it properly, third, second, fifth, this is probably like more than the 10th time I've read the instructions. And then along with the problem solving of the issue I was facing, that they're there. It's there. The solutions are there within the instructions. And if you follow along with them, you will eventually improve your Web3 skills and become a better developer. And you actually start understanding that within all those directories you see from the challenge, you actually know where to find changes you want to make for your back end from your smart contract, and also for your front end, how you want to visualize it to the crowd that you want to end up displaying it.
Very cool. I'm curious which one of the challenges you had the most trouble with, and which one is your favorite?
It's the first one.
Oh,
The
really?
first one is the first one. The first one is the one I had the most challenge with. That's why I feel like, what, the other ones coming up, I'm not gonna have such a big issue because 5 months, guys. That's the kind of patience that one needs to have, especially, when you have to juggle between different things. That's why just be patient with yourself. Don't be too hard on yourself. And by the way, before I forget to mention it, Speedrun Ethereum Scaffold ETH has a wonderful and interactive community within Telegram. So when you check out the chat, Austin and Lizard Brain had posted links to all the resources that were utilized today. And don't be afraid to reach out on Telegram. They're very friendly, loving, and also kind and informative community. One thing they just require from you is that you consistently apply yourself. It's like sometimes they can't give you the answer, but it's to create the kind of drive that that you see instilled in me today after 5 months of tinkering and problem solving.
Tinkering is the best way to put it. Like, just getting up to speed with tinkering is probably the biggest like aha moment or ability. Like, once you figure out how to sit down and copy paste some solidity into a smart contract and compile it and deploy it and see what happens, just getting in that feedback loop is one of the most critical parts there. So tinkering, I think, is a good thing to double click on.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Austin.
Scaffold ETH is a great thing to tinker with too. I could show that too if you need to.
I vouch for that.
Yeah, that's amazing. For anyone that's listening at any time, I think what you shared about having patience with yourself and keep on tinkering is like a good messages to end this workshop on a note. So thank you so much for everyone for attending, for being present with us, for being willing to learn. I think it'd be a good time to share Lizard Brain. You can plug BCAMP and Austin. I'm sure that many of them will be following you and watching your YouTube videos after this. Cue the dancing.
They're the best. They're the best.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to thank ETH Safari. This is super cool, awesome event. And it's so cool to mix kind of the hackathon and the conference. We were talking at the beginning with Austin about looking for cool events that are building stuff, that are not just shilling. So yeah, we are just appreciative and think this is a really cool initiative. So happy to participate. And, again, if you are interested in the bootcamp, I'll post an application link in there or reach out. We can give more information there. But we've had enough of the show. Yeah, great work, ETH Safari team.
very grateful.
I'm proud of you guys, and thank you very much for
Aw.
organizing this and inviting everybody. Like it's contributing to the spirit of Web3. The spirit of Web3 is decentralization and community, and that's much appreciated from everybody on our side. Everybody was here today.
Mhm. Yes. If there's no questions from the crowd we can address, we'll leave it as this. Asante Sana, and we'll see everyone at our next workshop. Oh, thank you, Lizard Brain.
Thank
Bye,
you.
Austin. Thank you for having us, or thank you for
Bye,
joining us.
guys. Enjoy the weekend and stay safe. Peace. Gentlemen. Bye.